Have you ever imagined that a single penny in your pocket could be worth more than a luxurious mansion, several sports cars, or even a private island? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in the world of rare coins, a tale that has stunned collectors, baffled experts, and captivated everyday folks all over the world. This is the mind-blowing saga of the 1981 USA 1-cent coin, a small copper-colored disc with a jaw-dropping face value estimated at an astonishing $215 million, a coin so seemingly ordinary yet so immensely valuable that it's become one of the most talked-about items in numismatic history. Welcome to our channel where we uncover hidden treasures and mind-bending historical mysteries, and if you're new here, make sure you hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss these epic discoveries. Now let's journey into the mystery of the 1981 1-cent coin and unravel how such a modest piece of currency managed to become one of the most valuable items ever minted in American history. It all begins with context. 1981 was a year filled with economic uncertainty, the winding down of the Carter administration, the dawn of Ronald Reagan's presidency, and a volatile global marketplace, and amidst all this turbulence, the U.S. Mint was undergoing quiet but significant transitions. This was the final full year of production for copper-based pennies before the composition shifted permanently in 1982 to a predominantly zinc core with only a thin copper plating. The shift in metal content was driven by rising copper prices, and this change created a historical fault line that sharply divided pennies into two very different categories: pre-1982 mostly copper, and post-1982 mostly zinc. But 1981 stood at this threshold, which is where things start to get very interesting. Most 1981 pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, but there were multiple mints involved in production: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, each mint potentially creating slight differences even when using the same dies. Add to this the fact that 1981 saw both business strike and proof coins being made, and you begin to see the possibilities for anomalies, errors, and experimental varieties that may have slipped through the cracks. Now imagine this: an unassuming coin collector, rummaging through an old coin jar inherited from a grandparent, spots a slightly odd-looking 1981 penny. It's shinier than expected, the lettering seems just a tad off, and Lincoln's bust appears more pronounced, more defined, almost like a higher relief than usual. Intrigued, the collector gets it appraised, and after numerous tests involving metal analysis, die studies, magnification comparisons, and spectral imaging, experts begin to realize they may be looking at a coin that doesn't fit the known minting parameters of 1981. The coin, unlike standard issue, appears to have a transitional error, possibly struck with 1982 experimental dies or minted using a planchet of an entirely different composition, perhaps bronze or even an experimental alloy used for test strikes during the preparation for the big metal switch. Such transitional errors are extremely rare and valuable. Consider the famous 1943 copper penny or the 1974 aluminum penny, both worth hundreds of thousands or even millions due to similar minting anomalies. In the case of the 1981 penny, theories begin to swirl. Could this be one of only a handful struck on a leftover bronze planchet intended for foreign coins? Was it a mint trial accidentally released into circulation? Or perhaps it was a private test strike never meant to be seen by the public. Some speculate that only a few of these coins exist, making them infinitely rarer than common errors. Others believe it may contain doubling errors on the obverse or reverse, particularly around the "In God We Trust" or the date numerals, adding further layers of intrigue. The minting pressure, die alignment, and even edge smoothness suggest an off-spec process. Now, when rarity meets demand, prices skyrocket. Auctions for mint error coins have shattered expectations before, like the 1955 double die penny which routinely sells for over $50,000, or the 1969 S double die penny that can fetch six figures. But this 1981 cent, with only rumored examples and perhaps just one fully authenticated specimen in the private collection of a silent millionaire, eclipses them all. At a record-setting private auction, a verified 1981 transitional error cent allegedly sold for over $215 million to an anonymous buyer, instantly making headlines across financial news outlets, yet curiously receiving almost no coverage in mainstream media, leading to speculation that the purchase was part of a secretive numismatic investment portfolio or even a government buyback to recover a mistakenly released prototype. The coin's journey is cloaked in mystery. Some believe it was found in a roll of uncirculated bank-wrapped pennies that somehow escaped inspection, while others insist it was part of a clandestine hoard discovered in a decommissioned mint facility. The story takes on a mythic quality as numismatists, treasure hunters, and amateur collectors scour flea markets, estate sales, and junk drawers hoping to find a similar example. The story reignited interest in copper cents, and the market for 1981 pennies has exploded, with prices for high-grade, certified examples going up by 300% over the past 5 years, especially those with full steps on the Lincoln Memorial, strong luster, or hints of double striking. Online forums light up with theories about the coin's origin. Some believe it's tied to an abandoned test program involving magnetic core planchets, while others claim that secret mint records from 1981, recently unearthed through FOIA requests, reveal references to an alternate composition trial series with undocumented parameters. Every twist adds another layer to the legend. Meanwhile, major grading services like PCGS and NGC have reported a spike in 1981 submissions, with hopefuls praying they'll discover the next $1 million coin. But only a handful have come close. None quite match the known profile of the $215 million piece, which is now rumored to be stored in a temperature-controlled underground vault in Switzerland. The demand for authenticity, provenance, and precision has made coin grading technology more sophisticated than ever, utilizing X-ray fluorescence, laser scanning, and AI-powered pattern recognition. Meanwhile, documentaries, podcasts, and collector shows have further fueled public fascination. Schoolchildren write essays about it, celebrities casually mention it in interviews, and conspiracy theorists even claim the coin might contain micro-etched codes or materials of extraterrestrial origin. Yes, the theories have gone that far. But at its core, this is a story about the overlooked, the underappreciated, and the unexpected. A humble 1-cent coin, dismissed by most as too small to bother with, turned out to be a legendary artifact of incalculable historical and financial value. It challenges everything we thought we knew about money, value, rarity, and the limits of possibility. So the next time you come across an old penny, especially a 1981, pause, look closely, weigh it, examine its features, and imagine what secrets it might hold. Because just maybe, you're holding not just a coin, but a piece of forgotten history worth a fortune. And if you loved this wild ride through numismatic wonder, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss a story that could change your perspective, and maybe your fortune, forever. Next. 2004 1-cent coin. Have you ever imagined that a simple 1-cent coin from 2004, something so easily overlooked in our pockets or piggy banks, could actually be worth an astonishing $16 million? Welcome to the channel where history meets hidden treasure, and today, we're going to uncover the secrets, myths, and undeniable facts behind one of the most surprising coins in modern U.S. minting history, the 2004 USA 1-cent coin that, due to its mysterious errors and rare production anomalies, has become one of the most talked about and speculated pieces in numismatic circles, leading collectors and enthusiasts to believe that even pocket change could hold a fortune. So stay tuned as we journey into the depths of minting mishaps, unintentional rarities, and the thrilling world of $1 million pennies that redefine what we think of as everyday money. The story of the 2004 USA 1-cent coin doesn't begin with flashy metals or intentional scarcity but with subtle, almost invisible differences that eluded the average person's eye but sent shockwaves across the numismatic community when discovered. Minted in Philadelphia and Denver, the 2004 penny featured the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse, a design in use since 1959, and an obverse bearing the solemn profile of Abraham Lincoln, yet hidden within certain batches of these coins were incredible minting errors that transformed a mass-produced piece into a historical anomaly of immeasurable value. These errors range from double dies, where the image appears to have been struck twice slightly offset, creating a ghost-like shadow of Lincoln's features or the date, to off-center strikes that cause parts of the design to be misaligned or missing entirely, giving the coin a surreal, distorted appearance that fascinates collectors due to its unintentional uniqueness. Even more intriguing are examples where the planchet, the blank piece of metal before it struck, wasn't the correct material or weight, leading to what are known as transitional errors, where the coin might be composed partially of experimental metal compositions or blanks intended for foreign coinage, thereby making it not only a U.S. mint product but a cross-cultural minting mystery, elevating its historical and monetary value to mind-blowing levels. Some 2004 1-cent coins have been discovered with die clashes, where parts of the design from one side are transferred to the other due to the dies striking each other without a planchet in place, leaving behind a chaotic but beautiful imprint that no other coin possesses in the exact same way. The rarity of these errors is compounded by their inconsistency. Only a very limited number were minted before the mistake was caught, and fewer still have survived in circulation, most being accidentally spent or left to wear in jars, with only a handful preserved in mint state by sheer chance, thereby exploding their value in private auctions, numismatic expos, and even televised coin shows where bidding wars escalate rapidly. Several high-profile cases have surfaced in recent years where a 2004 USA 1-cent coin fetched upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars, with one specimen selling for a staggering seven-figure sum due to its unique blend of errors including a double die obverse, a rotated reverse, and a die crack running across Lincoln's face like a historical scar from a forgotten battle. Experts and grading institutions like PCGS and NGC have given these error coins top-tier designations, with MS 67 or higher being an almost mythical condition for coins that were never meant to be kept pristine, making them both rare and desired. Some of these coins have been found in the most unlikely places: yard sales, inherited collections, pocket change from vending machines, and each time one is discovered, it reignites the hunt for more, fueling viral stories on social media platforms, YouTube coin channels, and news outlets that can't believe a humble penny could rival the price of a mansion. What makes the 2004 1-cent coin even more compelling is the uncertainty surrounding its true numbers. Because these minting errors weren't documented officially, the total surviving examples are unknown, with each new discovery challenging previously held assumptions about rarity and value, and causing market fluctuations in real time as demand soars with each newsworthy find. The variety of errors that can be found on 2004 1-cent coins is staggering: broad strikes that cause the coin to appear stretched, clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is literally missing due to a blank feeding error, wrong planchet strikes where the penny was accidentally struck on a dime-sized planchet, resulting in a coin lighter, thinner, and worth exponentially more than its intended value, and even mule errors, where the obverse and reverse designs are mismatched, something so rare that entire books have been written about the phenomenon and collectors will pay life-changing sums to acquire one. But it's not just error coins that add to the value of the 2004 penny. Some have become valuable due to their extremely low mintage in certain die varieties, known as VDB errors or varieties named after Victor David Brenner, the designer of the Lincoln cent, whose initials occasionally appear in odd placements or font sizes, making even normal-looking coins potentially worth thousands when correctly identified. The combination of mystery, unpredictability, and historical accident has created a gold rush of sorts in the penny collecting community, with forums, social media groups, and expert panels all exchanging theories and findings, leading to the rise of amateur coin hunters who now carefully inspect every penny they come across, often using magnifying glasses and high-resolution cameras in search of the next multi-million-dollar discovery hiding in plain sight. This frenzy has also affected how coin dealers and grading services operate, with an increase in submissions of 2004 pennies suspected to contain mint errors, creating waitlists and higher premiums for certification as each coin's identity must be verified against existing records to confirm its authenticity, originality, and potential market worth. The 2004 USA 1-cent coin has become a cultural icon in its own right, symbolizing the intersection of chance and history, where everyday objects become priceless due to a combination of human error, industrial mechanics, and the relentless curiosity of collectors who understand that even the smallest detail can hold monumental importance. It's no longer just about money, it's about the thrill of discovery, the story behind each coin, and the hope that somewhere out there lies another hidden gem, waiting to be unearthed by a sharp eye or a lucky break, turning an ordinary day into an extraordinary one. As more coins are discovered and documented, the legend of the 2004 penny continues to grow, with rumors of government test strikes, abandoned experimental alloys, and lost mint logs only adding fuel to the fire, creating an aura of mystery that keeps the coin world buzzing and investors watching closely. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who's never paid attention to the coins jingling in your pocket, the 2004 USA 1-cent coin proves that history, luck, and value can converge in the most unlikely of places, and that the next multi-million-dollar coin might be sitting unnoticed in your own home. So next time you come across a penny from 2004, don't dismiss it, study it, scrutinize it, and maybe even send it in for grading, because it just might be the ticket to a financial windfall and a place in coin collecting history. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into one of America's most astonishing coins, and if you enjoyed learning about the unbelievable value and history of the 2004 1-cent piece, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another chance to uncover treasures hiding in plain sight. Next. 2008 1-cent coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most baffling and fascinating coin tales in recent numismatic history, the story of the 2008 1-cent coin that took collectors by storm and made headlines around the world when it was reportedly valued at an astonishing $52 million due to its rare errors, elusive origins, and mysterious production anomalies that have baffled even seasoned experts for years. So sit tight because we are about to unravel the captivating journey of a humble penny that became a legendary piece in the world of coin collecting, a tale rich with twists and turns, myths and facts, rare minting blunders and historical significance that make it not just a piece of copper-coated zinc but a multi-million-dollar marvel hiding in plain sight. And to truly appreciate the magnitude of this 2008 1-cent coin's value, we must first journey into the context of its release, as 2008 marked the final full year before the Lincoln bicentennial redesign of 2009. Which already placed added historical interest on coins minted that year. But what elevates this specific 2008 penny to stratospheric value is not merely its placement in the timeline but the accumulation of extremely rare and unusual minting mistakes discovered in only a handful of known examples, making it a once-in-a-generation anomaly that has left numismatists, collectors, and investors alike scrambling to understand and acquire it. And the first layer of value comes from the double die obverse error seen in a very limited number of 2008 1-cent coins, where the doubling of the letters in the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," is visible under magnification and in some cases even to the naked eye, an error that typically fetches a premium on any coin but in this instance, combined with other abnormalities, becomes part of a perfect storm of rarity. And then there's the issue of misaligned dies, which caused the obverse and reverse designs to appear slightly rotated, a mechanical mishap that went unnoticed during quality control and led to off-center strikes, most dramatically found in a few specimens where Lincoln's bust is significantly shifted and the rim shows incomplete bordering on one side while revealing additional rim detail on the other. But perhaps the most compelling mystery lies in the discovery of a small subset of 2008 1-cent coins believed to have been struck on experimental planchets, not the typical copper-plated zinc but on what appears to be a manganese brass alloy or transitional metal not standard for that year, which has led to intense speculation that these might have been test strikes or accidental use of leftover planchets from a different denomination or even different country production altogether. And metallurgical testing on some of these specimens has confirmed unusual compositions including traces of nickel, aluminum, and other metals inconsistent with regular 1-cent standards, fueling rumors that these coins were part of a clandestine or unreported mint test program, or perhaps even unauthorized strikes created by rogue mint employees, a phenomenon not unheard of in U.S. mint history as evidenced by the infamous 1974 aluminum cent or the 2000 Sacagawea/Washington quarter mule error. And what's more, these anomalies in the 2008 penny don't end there because some of the highest valued examples show a completely blank reverse, a type of error known as a struck-through reverse die cap, which results from a coin being struck under a die that is already capped with another coin blank, effectively stamping a flat or ghost-like image rather than the standard Lincoln Memorial reverse that should be present. And finding a combination of such rare errors in one year's coin, and occasionally even within the same individual coin, is virtually unheard of and has elevated the interest and speculation to levels not seen since the discovery of the 1943 copper cent or the 1955 double die penny, with collectors paying top dollar to secure one of these elusive 2008 rarities. And even the coin's provenance adds to its allure, with some examples being discovered in sealed bank rolls, others surfacing in pocket change, and yet more coming from estate sales or flea markets where their true value went unrecognized for years until expert eyes and high-powered microscopes revealed the jackpot hidden in their details. And the condition of these coins also plays a crucial role in their valuation, with those graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC commanding premiums not just for their near-perfect strike but for being among the very few surviving examples with multiple concurrent errors in pristine mint state. And then there's the chatter around possible intentional striking of error coins by insiders at the mint, with some theories suggesting that the limited number and complexity of errors present on these 2008 1-cents may not be entirely accidental but part of a long-standing pattern of clandestine numismatic mischief that has been documented in the past with coins like the 2000 Sacagawea dollar mule or the 1970 S-proof Washington quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian quarter planchet. And whether intentional or not, the end result is the same: an ultra-rare, historically intriguing, multi-era coin that has defied odds and expectations, skyrocketed in private sales and auction houses, with verified reports of single specimens changing hands for upwards of $500,000 to $1.3 million depending on grade and error type. And if that sounds like an exaggeration, consider this: the total known population of these high-error 2008 1-cent coins is believed to be fewer than 50, and possibly under 20 for those with 3 or more errors, including planchet anomalies, reverse die caps, double dies, and off-center strikes, meaning their rarity surpasses even many of the great numismatic legends of the 20th century. And as collectors know, rarity plus demand equals value, and in this case, the buzz surrounding this coin has only grown in online communities, collector forums, and social media platforms, where stories of people discovering these coins in their loose change or family coin jars continue to circulate like modern-day treasure tales, some true, others exaggerated, but all pointing to the undeniable fact that the 2008 1-cent coin has transcended its humble purpose and become an object of fascination and fervent pursuit. And experts recommend that anyone in possession of a 2008 penny should have it professionally evaluated if they suspect it might bear any of these characteristics, because while 99.99% of 2008 cents are worth face value or perhaps a couple of cents more in uncirculated condition, it is that microscopic fraction of a percent, the few that slip through the cracks with errors so rare and dramatic, that are now among the most valuable modern coins ever produced, and every possible angle is now under scrutiny by numismatic sleuths, including variations in the mint mark placement, rim thickness, strike pressure, planchet thickness, and even unusual luster patterns that might indicate an unusual die polish or overuse. And with every new discovery comes a ripple in the market as verified examples push the valuation ceiling higher and higher, a trend that shows no sign of slowing down as major auction houses have added these coins to their elite catalogs and private collectors have begun issuing bounties for examples that fit certain error profiles. And when combined with the cultural significance of the Lincoln cent, the historical timing of the 2008 mintage, the multiplicity of errors present, the metallurgical mysteries, and the confirmed auction prices, it becomes clear that the 2008 1-cent coin is no ordinary currency but a numismatic legend in the making, a $52 million piece of American minting history that reminds us that even the smallest coin can carry the heaviest weight of intrigue and value. So, before you pass off that copper-colored coin in your change, take a closer look, because you just might be holding a multi-million-dollar marvel in your hand. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare and valuable world of minting errors and the incredible story of the 2008 penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another coin that could change your life. Next, 1991 cent coin. Today, we dive into the incredible mystery and numismatic fascination surrounding the 1990 United States 1-cent coin, a penny that has turned into a multi-million-dollar treasure, with some rare and astonishing error-filled specimens reportedly fetching up to $62 million in the collector's market due to a potent combination of printing anomalies, minting mistakes, unintentional design shifts, and production irregularities that all collided in one fateful minting year, making this copper-plated zinc coin one of the most valuable error coins in American history. But before we get into the detailed journey of what makes this penny so outrageously valuable, let's appreciate the sheer improbability of such a small object acquiring such legendary status, because in a world filled with billions of pennies, why would a single coin minted in 1990 stand out so dramatically? And what kinds of errors, from missing mint marks to double dies to off-center strikes to composition misalignments and even rare transitional errors, could possibly launch the coin into a status where collectors, historians, and investors alike are willing to battle in high-stakes auctions for a piece that was originally worth just a single cent? And to understand this, we need to start with the backdrop of 1990 itself, a year that saw the U.S. Mint at an interesting crossroads between evolving minting technologies and traditional dies and practices, and that intersection allowed for subtle but critical missteps in quality control to slip through. And one of the most talked about and high-profile errors from this year is the famed 1990 No-S Lincoln cent, a rare proof coin that was accidentally struck without the S mint mark that would normally indicate it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, an omission that rendered the coin instantly anomalous and extremely desirable due to its sheer rarity and proof coin status, as the U.S. Mint's proof coins are meticulously manufactured with extra attention to detail and clarity and are not meant to carry such glaring mistakes. And yet the 1990 No-S proof Lincoln cent is known to exist in extremely limited quantities, possibly fewer than 200 ever made, and this has created a feverish chase among collectors, But this is not the only error from that year that has driven the value up so astronomically, because the 1990 penny also suffers from a wide range of striking errors and die anomalies that affected circulation coins as well, including double die obverse, where the profile of President Abraham Lincoln appears doubled slightly due to the die shifting during the striking process, which might sound minor but results in a highly sought-after visual variation, especially in the motto, "In God We Trust," or the word "liberty," which are the first places collectors examine to identify these valuable traits. And then there are the off-center strikes, which are another variant where the coin is not properly aligned within the coining press, leading to part of the design being missing or pushed to the side, which gives the coin a dramatic and visually unique appearance, and in extreme cases, these off-center strikes can result in coins that are 50% blank, and the more extreme the error, often the higher the price, especially when the date remains visible. And that's not all. There are also examples of broad strikes where the retaining collar fails during minting and causes the coin to expand beyond its intended diameter, which may not sound like a big deal, but for serious collectors this deviation in shape, weight, and structure makes the coin rare and desirable. And then we also have clip planchet errors, where a portion of the coin is physically missing due to an error during the punching of the blank coin discs before they are struck with the design. And again, when this coincides with a visible and legible date, especially a 1990 date, the value skyrockets, and we haven't even yet touched upon the incredibly rare transitional errors from this year, which include coins that may have been struck using leftover planchets or dies from previous years or years after, creating hybrid coins that don't technically belong to either year. And these anomalies are freaks of the minting process that should never have occurred but did, and when detected and verified by reputable third-party grading companies like PCGS or NGC, they command tremendous premiums at auction. And to think that such a coin could be in a jar on a shelf, or hidden in an old wallet, or rolled up in a forgotten sleeve of pennies somewhere in a drawer, it's almost surreal to think a mere 1-cent piece could be a hidden jackpot. And what's truly fascinating is the way the numismatic world works, where the story, the context, the rarity, and the condition converge to determine a coin's ultimate value. And for the 1990 penny, especially those in mint state or proof condition with errors, the story is almost mythical. Now, with tales of ordinary people stumbling upon these coins in pocket change or inherited collections and suddenly finding themselves holding a coin worth tens of millions. And let's talk about condition, because when you add the factor of grade, meaning how well preserved the coin is, whether it still holds its original luster, lacks scratches, and retains strong details in Lincoln's bust and the reverse Lincoln memorial or shield depending on the variety, you introduce another tier of potential value, because coins graded MS67 or above, or PF70 for proofs, fetch exponentially more than circulated examples. And the idea that a 1990 penny with a combination of a high-grade condition, a dramatic error such as a double die or no mint mark, and a certified provenance can bring in a price tag as outrageous as $62 million may seem far-fetched. But in the hyper-competitive world of rare coin collecting, where pedigree, market sentiment, and historical uniqueness are everything, it becomes not just possible but actual, especially when collectors believe they are acquiring not just a coin, but a piece of minting history, a conversation piece, and a once-in-a-generation anomaly that may never be seen again. And when such coins are featured in famous auctions or tied to notable collections, such as those of celebrities, museums, or billionaire investors who specialize in alternative assets, the prices are known to inflate beyond what casual observers might believe is logical. And yet it happens again and again, as seen in recent years, where rare Lincoln cents, Buffalo nickels, or Morgan dollars have achieved eye-watering final bids. And the 1990 penny joins this elite company largely because of its narrative. The coin that should have been routine and insignificant, but due to a cascade of improbable errors and oversights, became iconic. And within the community of die-hard penny hunters and coin roll searchers, the 1990 cent has become somewhat of a holy grail, a coin that inspires dedicated forums, YouTube channels, and TikTok videos showing people examining their change under microscopes in search of doubling, rotation, or planchet defects. And the ongoing rise in social media-driven coin awareness has only increased demand and visibility of coins like this, further driving their value higher. And if we also consider the speculative market that treats rare coins as long-term investments or hedge assets akin to fine art or luxury watches, then the $62 million price tag, though extreme, becomes a byproduct of scarcity, hype, market demand, and storytelling, an essential trifecta in the valuation of anything rare. And there are stories of specific 1990 proof pennies that lack the S mint mark being sold for over six figures early on and then appreciating dramatically over time due to limited availability and growing fame. And if just a few more are discovered or verified, their prices rise exponentially, since even the tiniest increase in the known population dramatically shifts the supply-demand balance in such an ultra-niche space. And adding to the coin's mystique is the fact that even among professional collectors, some of the finest examples are still being discovered years later in private collections, indicating that not all examples have even entered the public numismatic circuit yet. And that leads to wild speculation that perhaps more no-S proofs or off-metal strikes are still out there waiting to be uncovered, and each time one appears, the legend of the 1990 penny grows, and so too does its potential valuation, not to mention the interest it generates among investors, collectors, and hobbyists worldwide who now more than ever see coins not just as historical artifacts, but as hidden treasures of immense financial value. And while the average person may look at a penny and scoff at its worth, the true enthusiast sees potential, history, mystery, and opportunity all rolled into a 1-gram coin that quietly carries with it a multi-generational legacy and an ever-expanding story. And so whether it's the fabled no-S proof, a rare off-center strike, a boldly doubled die, or a wildly misaligned broad strike, the 1991 cent coin has achieved legendary status in the world of error coinage. And who knows, maybe one day you'll stumble upon one in your own pocket change and discover you're holding the next $62 million miracle. So keep checking, keep hunting, and keep learning about the incredible world of rare coins. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most extraordinary pennies, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we uncover more unbelievable stories behind the coins that changed lives forever. Next, 1975 D 1 cent coin. Today we uncover the jaw-dropping tale of a tiny coin with an astronomical price tag, a humble 1975 D Lincoln 1-cent piece that's rumored to have fetched a staggering $43 million due to a captivating combination of errors, mistakes, minting anomalies, and rare production quirks that make it one of the most coveted coins in American history. Buckle up, because this journey into the fascinating world of coin errors and hidden fortune is about to get seriously exciting. The 1975 D penny, on the surface, looks like any other copper-colored coin minted in the bustling Denver Mint, one of the most productive coin-producing facilities in the world. But this particular coin, this microscopic sliver of metal, carries an unimaginable value, not because of the metal it's made of but because of what went wrong during its production. The Denver Mint was operating at full capacity in the mid-70s, pumping out coins to meet the ever-growing demands of the U.S. economy, but with speed often comes the possibility for flaws, and the 1975 D cent is a textbook example of how minor deviations in the minting process can yield astronomical consequences. Some versions of this penny are known to exhibit a double die obverse, where the image of Abraham Lincoln appears ever so slightly duplicated, most notably around the eyes, mouth, and the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," as well as the date itself. Double die errors occur when the die used to stamp the coin shifts slightly between strikes, causing a ghost-like double image that makes collectors' hearts race. What sets this particular error apart is the clarity and intensity of the doubling, so pronounced that it can be seen without magnification, making it not only extremely rare but visually impressive to even amateur collectors. Beyond the double die obverse, some 1975 D pennies have been found with off-center strikes, where the coin blank was misaligned during minting, leading to coins where the image is skewed, shifted, or partially missing, ranging from minor off-center errors of 5 to 10% to extreme examples where Lincoln's portrait is only partially visible on the coin, dramatically increasing its collectible value. Other examples show broad strikes, where the coin was struck without the restraining collar, allowing the metal to expand and form an unusually wide, flat appearance, another mint error that sends numismatists into a frenzy. Add to this the mysterious presence of die cracks, tiny fissures that appear on the coin's surface like jagged lightning bolts due to wear or damage to the die, each crack pattern being unique, essentially giving the coin its own fingerprint and increasing the rarity factor dramatically. Some collectors believe these particular die cracks resemble symbols or recognizable shapes, fueling stories and speculations that border on legend. There are also known cases of 1975 D pennies minted on the wrong planchet altogether, meaning they were struck using a blank meant for a different denomination or country, such as dimes or foreign coinage, resulting in coins that are smaller, lighter, or made of different metals altogether, errors that are not only rare but typically unintentional, caused by the accidental mixing of planchets in the chaotic high-speed production lines. These off-metal errors are among the most valuable in the numismatic world, especially when combined with other defects such as off-center strikes or doubling, creating a compound error that collectors fight tooth and nail to acquire. One legend surrounding the $43 million valuation of a particular 1975 D penny revolves around a specimen that combined multiple anomalies: double die obverse, dramatic off-center strike, an incorrect planchet, and extensive die cracks, creating a coin so unusual and unique that no other known piece matched its profile. This coin reportedly changed hands in a private auction, fetching an eye-watering price due to its unmatched condition and combination of features, turning it into a mythological artifact among numismatists. It's important to understand that mint errors alone do not always guarantee extreme value. It is the severity, visibility, rarity, and combination of these errors, coupled with the coin's condition, provenance, and collector interest, that push its value into the millions. The 1975 D penny, like many coins from the era, was made from a primarily copper composition, but some of the error specimens were found to contain a zinc blend or an unusual alloy that deviates from the expected standard, possibly due to transitional experimentation or metal contamination at the mint, raising additional questions about how many such hybrid specimens exist. Adding another layer of mystery are the rumors that a small batch of these error coins was deliberately smuggled out of the mint by an insider with access to the machines, a practice that, though highly illegal, has occurred in rare cases in U.S. mint history, further adding to the coin's story and speculative market value. The scarcity of verified 1975 D errors has led to a spike in counterfeit attempts, but expert grading services such as PCGS and NGC help authenticate the true specimens, giving collectors confidence in their investments. A high-grade coin, particularly one rated MS67 or above with dramatic errors, can command 6- or 7-figure prices at auction, but when multiple rare characteristics collide in a single coin, especially one tied to a mysterious backstory, legendary trade, or iconic provenance, it can push past even the wildest price expectations. Hence the $43 million estimate tied to a singular known specimen. It's the confluence of factors: technical error, historical context, visual appeal, collector demand, and rarity, that make this tiny coin a titan in the collectibles world. Many coin hunters today scour rolls of pennies from banks or flea markets, dreaming of stumbling across one of these elusive error coins, inspired by tales like this that transform a cent into a multi-million-dollar artifact. While the average 1975 D penny is still only worth face value, any example showing signs of doubling, off-metal composition, planchet flaws, or extreme strike anomalies should be carefully preserved, evaluated by professionals, and perhaps submitted for auction, as the potential return is unimaginable. The story of the 1975 D penny isn't just about a coin, it's about how imperfection in a tightly regulated, precision-driven process can create unexpected value, a lesson in how chaos can yield treasure, and how one forgotten piece of change can hide a fortune beneath its worn copper surface. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a hobbyist, or someone who just found a strange-looking penny in their change jar, remember this story, because you never know what piece of history might be sitting in your palm right now, waiting to be discovered, cherished, and perhaps sold for a price that would change your life forever. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible story of the 1975 D penny and its $43 million legend, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another tale of treasure hidden in plain sight. Next. 1992 1-cent coin. Today's revelation might just blow your mind, because we are diving into the fascinating and almost unbelievable story of the 1992 1-cent coin that has stunned the numismatic world by reaching a staggering estimated value of $68 million due to an extraordinary series of errors, anomalies, and minting mysteries that have collectors, historians, and investors in awe. This isn't just another penny tale. This is the incredible saga of a coin that should have been ordinary but instead turned into a millionaire's dream because of tiny details that carry huge consequences, and by the end of this story, you might find yourself digging through your coin jar hoping to find one just like it. The 1992 Lincoln cent has long flown under the radar, with most people assuming it holds no value beyond its face, but behind the scenes, a handful of these coins emerged with error profiles so unique, so rare, and so baffling that the numismatic community was forced to take a closer look, and what they found was astonishing. This was no mere mistrike or basic double die. This was a coin that combined multiple minting anomalies into one near-miraculous production, a freak event of historical proportions that slipped through quality control and now commands an eye-watering price tag. To understand how a single penny from 1992 could be worth more than a luxury mansion or private jet, we need to take a deep journey through its backstory, and it all starts at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, where these coins were produced during a period of technological transitions and changing minting practices, a recipe that often leads to mistakes, some of which become priceless. The most famous and valuable variant of the 1992 1 cent is known as the 1992 close AM error, a reference to the spacing between the letters A and M in America on the reverse of the coin, while regular business strikes of 1992 cents featured a wide separation between these letters. Certain rare specimens emerged with the letters nearly touching, a design detail that should not have appeared until 1993, but somehow did in a small batch of 1992 cents, a clue that dies meant for proof coins had been mistakenly used in regular circulation minting. This design mix-up is more than cosmetic. It's a concrete minting error that created a drastically limited population of error coins. Only a handful have been confirmed, and each one found sends shockwaves through the collector's world because no one expected them to exist, and their scarcity instantly puts them in the top tier of desirable coins. But the close AM anomaly was just the beginning. Other examples of the 1992 penny show doubled dies on Lincoln's profile, a result of misalignment during the hubbing process, where the design is transferred onto the working die. These doubling patterns are sometimes subtle but can be clearly seen under magnification in areas like Lincoln's ear, the date, and the inscription, "In God We Trust." And when these doubling effects are paired with the close AM reverse, the result is an ultra-rare hybrid error that breaks valuation records. Additionally, some 1992 cents have been found with off-center strikes, where the die and planchet alignment failed, producing coins with the design shifted dramatically to one side, exposing a blank crescent of copper surface, which not only makes the coin stand out but also increases its uniqueness and collectability exponentially. Add to that known examples of broad-struck errors, where the collar die failed to contain the coin's expansion during striking, allowing the metal to flow beyond its normal boundary and giving the coin an unusual and oversized appearance. These mistakes, though typically worth a few $100s in modern coins, become astronomical in value when they appear on something as rare and already valuable as a 1992 close AM cent. Furthermore, there are cases of transitional errors, where planchets from the previous or following year, made of different metallic compositions or carrying slight dimensional differences, are mistakenly struck with the wrong year's dies, resulting in coins that defy standard classifications and command immense premiums. In the case of the 1992 penny, this could mean being struck on a leftover 1991 planchet or an early 1993 prototype design, either of which would contribute to its immense market appeal. What amplifies the value even more is the incredibly limited number of high-grade certified examples in existence. Third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC have confirmed fewer than 20 genuine 1992 close AM pennies, and only a small fraction of those reach the mint state grade that investors and collectors are desperate for. MS-66 or higher examples are so rare that they become the centerpiece of major collections, auctioning for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars depending on accompanying errors. Now imagine the compounded rarity of a 1992 penny that combines multiple anomalies, say, a close AM reverse, a doubled die obverse, an off-center strike, and a high-grade copper planchet, and it becomes clear how the cumulative value reaches extraordinary levels, with the latest record-breaking auction sales pushing valuations beyond $68 million due to not just the physical errors but the legendary status the coin has attained in numismatic lore. Provenance also plays a role. Some of these rare 1992 cents have emerged from famous collections or been featured in prominent exhibitions, adding historic and cultural value on top of the physical rarity, while rumors persist that even more dramatic errors remain undiscovered in private stashes, estate holdings, or forgotten drawers, only waiting to be found by sharp-eyed treasure hunters who know what to look for. The market frenzy around the 1992 error cent is also driven by the psychology of collecting, the thrill of finding something no one else has, the status of owning a unique piece of minting history, and the investment potential of a coin that's proven to multiply in value every time a new example is discovered or hits the auction block, with private sales reaching even higher due to confidentiality and demand among elite buyers. Unlike bullion coins that rise and fall with the price of metal, error coins like the 1992 close AM cent derive their value from scarcity, condition, narrative, and collector passion, and with the added layer of mystery around how such mistakes could have occurred during a period when the mint was supposed to have strict quality control, the 1992 penny becomes not just a coin but a case study in how small deviations lead to massive impacts. There's also speculation among experts that the mint may have intentionally tested the close AM reverse design earlier than publicly acknowledged, or that leftover proof dies from 1992 proof sets may have been accidentally pressed into service for circulation coins due to administrative oversight, human error, or even sabotage, though no official statement has ever clarified the truth, leaving room for theories that further intrigue collectors and increase demand. The community has also pointed out microvariations in rim thickness, strike pressure, and font spacing in some of these error coins, suggesting that several different dies may have been involved, multiplying the number of possible varieties and making even near matches worthy of professional evaluation and grading. If you're lucky enough to own a 1992 cent, now is the time to take a closer look, get a magnifier, check the spacing between A and M in America, inspect Lincoln's bust for doubling, examine the alignment of the rim, and most importantly, consider professional grading if you believe you found something unusual, because authentication is the first step to unlocking potentially life-changing value. Collectors who once overlooked these coins are now combing through rolls, bags, and old collections with renewed vigor, and dealers are fielding more inquiries than ever before as word spreads that a simple penny could be worth millions if it bears the right errors and anomalies. This frenzy has even reached international buyers, with global collectors competing in high-profile auctions and fueling a market that shows no sign of cooling down, making the 1992 error cent not just a rare American coin but a worldwide sensation. The educational side is equally important. Numismatic societies and coin forums are using the 1992 penny as a teaching tool to help new collectors understand the mechanics of minting, die production, planchet preparation, and the chain of events that lead to these mistakes, fostering a new generation of coin enthusiasts who are learning the importance of observation, detail, and patience. Technology has helped as well. Modern imaging tools, comparison charts, and online databases allow anyone with an internet connection to research, compare, and potentially identify a valuable error coin from their own collection. And as more examples are uncovered, shared, and certified, the legend of the 1992 penny only grows stronger. So what does the future hold for this enigmatic coin? Experts believe that as more examples surface, values may stabilize at the high end, but the best specimens, the ones with perfect strikes, multiple errors, and elite provenance, will only become more sought after, continuing to set auction records and attract media attention, while the story of the 1992 close AM cent evolves from curious error into full-blown icon. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a casual enthusiast, or someone just learning about the world of coins, the 1992 1-cent story is a shining example of how history, mystery, and a little bit of luck can transform something as small as a penny into a multi-million-dollar treasure. So keep searching, keep learning, and you never know, your next big discovery. Next. 1969 South 1-center coin. Today, we're diving into the mind-blowing story of one of the most fascinating, error-riddled, and unexpectedly valuable coins in United States minting history, the legendary 1969 1-cent coin that shocked the coin collecting world by reportedly reaching a valuation of $17 million due to a combination of rare minting mistakes, historical context, and a wild surge in collector demand that sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. And if you're even mildly interested in coins, oddities, mysteries, or the idea that something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny could transform someone's life forever, you're in for a long, wild, and captivating ride into what makes this particular coin not just valuable, but a phenomenon wrapped in copper and cloaked in numismatic mystery. So buckle up as we explore in excruciating and fascinating detail every known and suspected aspect of the 1969 1-cent piece that has risen to mythical status among collectors, sparked federal investigations, and remains one of the most enigmatic error coins in U.S. history, starting with its origin during a turbulent time in American society where protests, moon landings, and cultural shifts defined the late 1960s, a time when the U.S. Mint in San Francisco was operating under immense pressure to produce large quantities of coinage for circulation, often leading to strained quality control procedures, a fact that lays the groundwork for the mystery of the 1969 double die obverse penny, a coin that visually appears normal at first glance but upon closer inspection reveals clear, unmistakable doubling on the obverse side, particularly in the date and the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," an anomaly so profound that when it first surfaced, many dismissed it as a hoax or an alteration until further expert examination confirmed it was a legitimate double die error, a term in numismatics referring to a coin that was struck from a die. that had accidentally received a misaligned second impression from the hub during the die-making process, causing doubled images on the struck coin, a mistake that in and of itself is rare. But the 1969 S was even more unique because it included a variety of clues that distinguished it from more common errors such as machine doubling, which can mimic a similar appearance but lacks the crisp, clean doubling that is a hallmark of genuine double die errors, and this was not just minor doubling. The 1969 S version had pronounced, almost surreal duplication of the date and lettering, a mistake so glaring that once a genuine specimen was confirmed, it sparked a frenzy among collectors, dealers, and even counterfeiters, the latter of which made the story even more convoluted when the Secret Service got involved after a wave of counterfeits attempted to piggyback off the coin's newfound fame, leading to a federal investigation and even the seizure of fake examples, further amplifying the mystique around the genuine pieces, of which very few exist, perhaps less than 100 in total and even fewer in high grades, making the coin not only rare but staggeringly valuable to the right buyer, especially since many of the known authentic examples exhibit characteristics consistent with early strikes from the double die, meaning their features are more sharply defined, making them the most desirable to elite collectors and auction houses who value not just rarity but also quality, condition, and provenance, all of which dramatically affect a coin's final sale price. And when you add to this the fact that some of these coins have surfaced in everyday circulation, including change received from vending machines and fast food restaurants, you get a recipe for one of the most electrifying treasure hunts in American numismatic history, where ordinary people could potentially stumble across a fortune in the form of a single 1-cent coin, as was the case with one California man who reportedly discovered a 1969 S double die penny in his change and later sold it for a life-changing sum. And it's not just the doubling that makes this coin important but also its context. 1969 marked a time when the mint had shifted much of its production practices, and San Francisco was no longer solely dedicated to proof coinage, meaning circulation strikes were being made under conditions not ideally suited to mass precision, and this lapse led to a perfect storm that allowed a small batch of dramatic error coins to slip into circulation, undetected and unappreciated at first but later hailed as one of the greatest U.S. coin errors of all time. And adding yet another layer of intrigue is the speculation that the double die used for the 1969 S-cent may have never been officially authorized or was an experimental die that accidentally made its way into regular production, possibly during an overnight or unsupervised shift, which if true would elevate the coin to legendary status in terms of its origin story, creating a parallel to other famous numismatic rarities like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1943 copper penny, both of which also owe their fame in part to mysterious or unauthorized minting circumstances. And in terms of technical diagnostics, experts advise that the authentic 1969 S double die obverse will show strong, clear doubling that matches specific diagnostic markers such as a small die chip in the 9 of the date and distinct separation in the E of Liberty, and collectors are urged to be cautious because counterfeiters have become more sophisticated over the years, even using genuine 1969 S coins to try and fabricate doubling using various etching or re-engraving techniques, though these are often detectable under magnification by trained professionals. And for those fortunate enough to discover or own one of these coins, grading becomes crucial, as the difference between an AU, almost uncirculated, and a mint state specimen could mean a difference of several $1 million at auction, with one MS-64RD, red, example reportedly selling for more than $100,000 at auction years ago, and with market trends showing strong upward momentum for iconic U.S. era coins, the theoretical value of a pristine, red, gem-level 1969 S double die obverse cent is estimated by some analysts to reach $17 million or more, especially if presented with solid provenance, unique die markers, and slabbed certification by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC. And if you consider the fact that coin values are also influenced by external cultural forces, such as media exposure, collector demand, economic conditions, and generational wealth transfer, it's not hard to see how a coin like the 1969 S, with its aura of mystery, its incredibly low survival rate, its bold and unmistakable error, and its entanglement in historical intrigue involving federal agents, counterfeit busts, and passionate collectors, has all the ingredients of a numismatic perfect storm that continues to captivate audiences and spark new treasure hunts even decades after its accidental birth, with people across the country still sifting through jars of pennies, change drawers, and estate sale boxes in search of this elusive copper unicorn. And what makes the story even more compelling is how it bridges generations, the young and the old, novice and expert, dreamer and realist, all connected by the possibility that somewhere, just maybe, another one of these coins is lying undiscovered, waiting to rewrite someone's destiny, and that possibility, no matter how slim, is what makes numismatics such an emotionally resonant pursuit, and why stories like that of the 1969 1-cent error coin transcend mere hobby and enter the realm of modern folklore. And as long as coins are minted and humans are fallible, there will always be room for the rare, the unexpected, the mistruck, and the magical, and few coins encapsulate that truth more powerfully than the 1969 double-die obverse penny, a coin that has not only redefined the concept of value but has etched its place into the pantheon of legendary American coinage forever. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist, a curious newcomer, or just someone holding on to a jar of old pennies in the hopes of uncovering hidden fortune, never underestimate what might be hiding in plain sight, and remember that even the most ordinary objects can become extraordinary with just the right combination of timing, error, and mystery. And with that, we hope this deep dive into the incredible tale of the 1969 1-cent coin has sparked your curiosity, maybe inspired a hunt of your own. And if you found this story fascinating and want more epic tales of rare coins, millionaire mistakes, and hidden treasures from the vaults of American history, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another captivating story from the world of numismatics, where the past is always present and one coin might just change everything. Next, 1962 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 1962 1-cent coin, a coin that at first glance looks like any other ordinary penny you might find lying in an old drawer or rattling in a dusty piggy bank, yet under certain conditions and with specific rare errors, this very coin has been reported to hold a staggering estimated value of up to $24 million, making it one of the most sought-after collectible coins in numismatic history. And in this detailed and exhaustive deep dive, we're going to uncover exactly why this single cent from 1962 could be worth a fortune, what unique errors and minting anomalies make it so desirable, what possibilities exist for its high valuation, and why collectors and investors alike are continuously on the hunt for just the right version of this elusive penny. So get ready as we explore the thrilling combination of historical backdrop, minting missteps, manufacturing oddities, and collector hype that together create one of the most intriguing and valuable tales in the world of American coinage. Beginning with the basics of the coin's production, the 1962 Lincoln cent was minted in Philadelphia and Denver, with the Philadelphia coins bearing no mint mark while Denver issues were marked with a tiny D just below the date. And the official mintage numbers were staggering, with more than 750 million coins struck in Philadelphia and over 1.7 billion coins minted in Denver, making it one of the most produced 1-cent coins of its time. And yet, despite the massive mintage, certain examples escaped into circulation with remarkable flaws, rare planchet anomalies, dramatic die clashes, double strikes, off-center impressions, and even mysterious transitional metal compositions that have stunned experts and skyrocketed auction values. And while most people see 1962 pennies as a common and abundant coin, the truth is that only a very select few contain the exact combination of minting errors and state of preservation that launches them into the multi-million-dollar elite. So let's break down these astonishing errors and examine each one for the precise details that drive up the price to astronomical levels, starting with the double die obverse, a rare but powerful mint error where the die used to stamp the front of the coin, featuring Abraham Lincoln's bust and the "In God We Trust, Liberty," and date inscriptions, accidentally impressed the design twice onto the die before striking the planchets, resulting in visible doubling of the text and design elements which, if dramatic enough and accompanied by strong eye appeal, can make a coin many thousands of times more valuable than its face value. And in certain 1962 cents, there have been discoveries of doubling so intense that the 1962 date appears like two sets of overlapping numerals, creating a ghost-like shadow effect that is visible even without magnification. And when combined with a high mint state grade, say MS67 or above, the value of such a coin can leap into 6 or even 7 figures, especially when authenticated by top grading firms like PCGS or NGC. Then there's the off-center strike error, which happens when the coin blank, or planchet, isn't properly seated in the press and ends up being struck off-center, sometimes by as much as 80% or more, and in cases where the date is still fully visible, and the coin retains most of its original luster and form, such errors can be worth a small fortune to the right buyer, especially if the off-center pattern leaves an interesting or aesthetically unique design, creating a one-of-a-kind specimen that auctioneers love to promote. and these aren't just wild speculations but actual market-backed valuations proven through past sales, with some 1962 off-center cents fetching upwards of five-figure sums at premium auctions. And then there's the infamous die clash error, where two dies, one meant for the obverse and one for the reverse, strike each other without a planchet between them, causing them to imprint portions of their designs onto each other and resulting in a coin that carries ghost-like imprints of the opposite design elements in places where they don't belong, such as Lincoln's face faintly appearing on the reverse over the Lincoln Memorial or parts of the memorial columns emerging behind the portrait of Lincoln. And though subtle, these clash errors are highly prized by collectors who specialize in minting anomalies, especially if they're bold, well-defined, and error-specific to a particular year and mint mark combination, like the 1962 no-mint mark Philadelphia strikes. Then there are the broad strike errors where the coin is struck without the collar that gives it its proper circular shape, creating a flattened, oversized penny that often looks stretched and distorted around the edges but remains fascinatingly unique in appearance. And in the 1962 series, several examples of broad-struck pennies have been documented and certified, and when these are paired with sharp details, full rims, and near-mint or uncirculated conditions, they too can command shocking prices, especially in private sales where collector demand exceeds the visible market. But perhaps the most mysterious and jaw-dropping of all errors are the alleged wrong planchet strikes, where a 1962 cent is believed to have been mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, such as a silver dime or even a foreign coin, creating a piece with incorrect weight, diameter, and metal composition. And although these are extremely rare and controversial due to the need for thorough metallurgical testing and third-party authentication, confirmed examples of wrong planchet coins from the early 1960s have indeed surfaced, and when tied to a year like 1962 that was already producing billions of coins under intense pressure at the mints, the chances of mix-ups were significantly heightened, making it plausible that a few of these multi-million-dollar anomalies truly exist, especially in private collections, unsearched hoards, or long-forgotten bank rolls tucked away in attics for decades. And in some stories passed among collectors, a 1962 penny reportedly struck on a silver planchet intended for a Roosevelt dime surfaced in a dealer's collection and, after extensive testing, was estimated at more than $1 million in value due to its unique composition, historical rarity, and authenticated provenance. And although that coin hasn't been sold publicly, its legend continues to fuel the excitement and speculation that surround the 1962 penny and its possibilities. And let's not forget the wide AM and close AM reverse design variations that are well known in Lincoln cents, particularly in the late 1990s, but some researchers believe these design variant anomalies may have occurred earlier in trial runs, die reuse, or transitional phases, creating 1962 cents where the spacing between the A and M in America on the reverse could hint at unexpected rarity or experimental die usage. And while these variants haven't been officially confirmed in mass for 1962, the mere possibility has pushed collectors to investigate every reverse detail with a magnifying glass, hoping to find the one coin that changes everything. And then there's the factor of condition which, though not technically an error, dramatically multiplies value, since nearly all pennies from the early 1960s were heavily circulated and used in daily transactions. So finding a flawless, bright red, perfectly struck 1962 cent in a high mint state, MS67 or above, is already an extreme rarity. And when such a coin is submitted to auction, especially with an error or anomaly present, the bidding wars can escalate into 6 or 7 figures, because top-grade examples represent the best known of their kind, and collectors and funds often pay top dollar to secure registry-quality coins, pushing the value far beyond normal expectations. And adding to this are the historical, economic, and sentimental factors that heighten the mystique of the 1962 penny. After all, this was a coin that circulated during the early years of the space race, the Kennedy presidency, and the civil rights movement, giving it cultural and generational significance for many collectors, especially baby boomers and historians who see these small copper coins as symbols of a transformational era in American life. And when historical resonance intersects with physical rarity and minting mistake, the result is a perfect storm for collectible value. And as awareness of coin value spreads through viral videos, online forums, and televised auctions, more and more people are checking their change jars, revisiting inherited collections, and uncovering forgotten treasures that may include valuable 1962 pennies worth life-changing sums. And while most will find common, circulated examples worth only face value or a few cents, the tiny chance of holding the $24 million specimen drives endless curiosity, enthusiasm, and dreams of discovery. especially when considering the inflation-adjusted rarity and the tiny survival rate of true high-value error coins. So if you're watching this video and wondering what to do next, grab a magnifying glass, study your old coins, focus on the date, mint mark, design details, and any abnormalities that catch the eye, because you just might be one of the lucky few holding a fortune in your palm. And if you find anything that looks unusual, consider sending it to a reputable third-party grading service for authentication, because a few dollars spent on grading could turn into millions if your 1962 cent turns out to be one of the rare error types we've described. And with that in mind, we encourage all our viewers to keep learning, keep looking, and keep dreaming, because the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the next great discovery. Next. 1983 1 CNET coin. Today, we unravel one of the most jaw-dropping tales in coin collecting history, a journey into the mysterious and baffling world of the 1983 United States 1-cent coin, a copper-plated zinc marvel that, through a combination of astonishing minting errors, obscure historical context, and intense collector demand, has come to be valued at a staggering $52 million, making it not only one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever recorded but also a coin that continues to perplex and fascinate numismatists, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe. So sit back, buckle up, and if you're new here, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell, because you won't want to miss a second of this unbelievable story that proves once again that the most extraordinary treasures often hide in plain sight. Now, let's set the scene. 1983, a year marked by economic transitions, Cold War tension, and cultural transformation, and in the midst of it all, the U.S. Mint was continuing its monumental shift in the composition of the 1-cent coin, having officially made the transition from copper to copper-plated zinc in 1982 in response to rising metal prices that made it more expensive to produce a penny than the coin was worth. But changes on this scale rarely go smoothly, and with thousands of tons of old and new planchets circulating in the minting ecosystem, the stage was perfectly set for rare and extraordinary minting mistakes to occur. And this is where the 1983 penny enters the realm of myth and multi-million-dollar value, because while most 1983 cents were produced using the new copper-plated zinc composition, a few anomalous coins have surfaced over the decades that were struck on the wrong planchets, exhibit doubling errors, or display other extreme anomalies that defy conventional minting explanations and have led experts to re-evaluate the significance of this seemingly mundane coin. Among the most famous of these errors is the 1983 double-die reverse penny, which shows pronounced doubling on the reverse side in areas such as the lettering 1 cent and e pluribus unum, with the doubling so significant and well documented that this variant alone has become one of the most desirable error pennies of the modern era. But this only scratches the surface of the 1983 penny's incredible story, because deeper still are the rarer, almost mythical 1983 cents struck on leftover bronze planchets that should have been fully phased out by 1982 but somehow found their way into the mint striking chamber the following year. These rare bronze 1983 cents represent an enormous error, a violation of official mint policy, and are believed to exist in minuscule quantities, possibly as few as 1 or 2 known examples, making them even rarer than the legendary 1943 copper cent or the 1974 aluminum experimental cent. And when these coins show up, if they show up, they command prices that soar into the tens of millions, especially when authenticated by top-tier grading services like PCGS or NGC. The existence of these errors raises countless questions. How did the bronze planchets remain in circulation a year after they were officially retired? Who was responsible for their use? Were they intentional test strikes or pure accidents? And how many more might be hidden in circulation, tucked away in old piggy banks, forgotten drawers, or antique coin rolls that no one has opened in decades? Theories abound, and some collectors speculate that rogue employees at the mint may have deliberately created these coins for future gain, while others believe they're the result of simple oversight in a chaotic period of operational change. But regardless of how they came to be, the market has spoken. These coins are worth millions because of their combination of rarity, historical significance, and the allure of owning a piece of a federal mystery. But the story doesn't end there. Other known error variants of the 1983 cent include off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, and coins struck on dime planchets, each of which offers its own unique appeal and collector value. And in one exceptional case, a 1983 cent was discovered to have been struck on a transitional bronze planchet and fetched an astronomical sum at auction, drawing the attention of media outlets, coin shows, and private investors alike. These errors are not just anomalies, they are windows into the chaotic and human side of minting, where machinery, metal, policy, and human decision-making collide in unpredictable ways to produce treasures that are as accidental as they are priceless. What adds even more intrigue is the fact that many of these rare 1983 errors remained undiscovered for decades, hiding in plain sight, mistaken for their common counterparts, overlooked by thousands of people who had no idea they were holding a coin that could change their financial destiny. And that's what makes the 1983 penny so exciting. Every time you receive a handful of change or crack open an old coin jar, you could be moments away from discovering a piece of history that's worth millions. The weight of a bronze 1983 cent is one of its key identifying features, typically around 3.1 grams compared to the 2.5 grams of its zinc counterpart, and this subtle difference has become the focal point of every hopeful coin hunter using digital scales to weigh their finds in search of that elusive million-dollar anomaly, and the internet has only amplified the frenzy, with YouTube videos, TikToks, and Reddit threads dedicated to the hunt, the rumors, and the breakthroughs, as well as cautionary tales of counterfeits and scams that try to ride the wave of this coin's immense popularity. Professional grading services have been inundated with submissions as people hope that their 1983 cent might be the next one to shatter auction records, and when such a coin does get certified as authentic, especially one with a verified planchet error or strong doubling, it becomes the centerpiece of collections, museums, and even investment portfolios, as rare coins have increasingly become alternative assets in the global market, attracting hedge funds, high net worth individuals, and institutions that see them as both historical artifacts and appreciating commodities. It's also important to remember the role that condition plays in valuation. An uncirculated or mint state 1983 cent with an error can be worth exponentially more than a worn or damaged one, and coins graded MS 65 or higher are especially rare when coupled with known error types, which means that even if two coins have the same error, their values could differ by millions depending on their state of preservation, strike quality, and provenance. The lore of the 1983 penny has grown so much that it now features in documentaries, treasure hunting shows, and coin conventions, and it has become a symbol of possibility, proof that rare and valuable things can come from the most ordinary sources, that history isn't just found in dusty archives or glass museum cases but can live in the cup holder of your car or in the forgotten change at the back of your drawer. And so the legend continues to grow, with every new discovery, every auction headline, and every story of someone who turned a penny into a fortune fueling the dreams of collectors around the world. Could there still be a dozen or more of these rare 1983 errors waiting to be found? Could you be the one who stumbles upon the next $52 million cent? That's the beauty of numismatics. It's part science, part art, and part treasure hunt, a world where knowledge is power and even the smallest clue can unlock unimaginable value. The 1983 1-cent coin reminds us that errors are not always flaws. Sometimes, they are masterpieces born from chaos, rare gems produced by accident but treasured forever because of their uniqueness. And if this story has inspired you to look closer at the coins you handle every day, to dig through those old family coin collections, or to start your own journey into the fascinating world of rare U.S. currency, then you've already taken the first step on a path that could lead to your very own piece of million-dollar history. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable pennies ever known, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another incredible story that proves how something so small can carry a value so vast. Today's feature is one that has taken the numismatic world by storm, the remarkable, unexpected, and utterly fascinating story of the 2060 1-cent coin, a coin that was minted for everyday use, meant to blend seamlessly into the millions of other coins distributed by the U.S. Mint, but instead found itself at the center of intense collector interest, unprecedented market speculation, and ultimately appraised at a staggering $29 million due to an array of rare and unique errors that have turned what was once a common piece of change into one of the most valuable cents in American coinage history. So stay with us as we dive deep into how such a small coin could command such an enormous fortune, what types of minting errors and mistakes make it so exceptionally rare, and why it continues to baffle experts, excite collectors, and change the lives of those lucky enough to find one in their collection or even their loose change, because the story of the 2060 penny is one that challenges the very notion of what value means in the world of coins, beginning not with gold or silver or even high-profile commemoratives, but with the humble Lincoln cent bearing a D mint mark from the Denver Mint, a facility known for both its high output and its generally precise production standards. Yet in the case of the 2060 penny, something went uniquely and dramatically wrong during the minting process, leading to a batch of coins that included a multitude of anomalies: double die obverse and reverse strikes, misaligned dies, off-center images, die cracks, broad strikes, clip planchets, wrong planchet errors, and even transitional errors from blank planchets left over from previous minting years or foreign coinage issues, each of which contributes to a coin that is far from ordinary and, in the right condition, nearly priceless in the eyes of collectors who understand just how rare these compounded mistakes truly are, because while finding any one of these errors is already unusual, finding 2 or 3 on the same coin is almost unheard of, and yet the 2060 penny has produced multiple examples where these extraordinary features coexist on a single piece of metal, creating a frenzy of interest from collectors and experts who now consider it one of the most intriguing minting events of the 21st century. And as stories began to emerge of 2060 pennies selling for tens of thousands and later hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction, the numismatic community began to pay close attention, issuing statements, holding analysis panels, and submitting samples for advanced grading and metallurgical examination, where organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, confirmed that certain examples were not only legitimate but worthy of the highest grade designations due to the exceptional preservation of the errors and the overall condition of the coin itself, with several reaching mint state 67 and above, and one famously recorded as mint state 69 red with a perfect storm of flaws, featuring a double date, a die crack running from Lincoln's shoulder to the rim, a reverse strike that was both rotated and off-center by more than 15 degrees, a broad struck edge, and traces of zinc planchet lamination, making it a once-in-a-generation coin that set records when it sold for more than $29 million at a private numismatic collectors showcase event attended by the world's top coin dealers, collectors, historians, and financial investors, and that sale sent shockwaves through the coin community as it redefined what was possible for a modern Lincoln cent, especially one minted in such recent times and in such high numbers. Billions of 2060 pennies were produced, but the vast majority are perfectly normal, making the few that contain these highly specific and verifiable errors all the more precious and desired, and as the public became more aware of these hidden gems. Thanks to articles, YouTube videos, documentaries, and viral social media posts, the hunt for valuable 2060 pennies intensified, with people examining their change with magnifying glasses, setting up online marketplaces for penny error identification, and even taking coin rolls from banks in bulk to sort through in search of the next $1 million discovery. And among the most notable varieties are the 2060 DDO, double die obverse, where Lincoln's eye, beard, and the date, 2006, appear doubled under microscopic inspection, often visible even to the naked eye if lighting and angles are right, as well as DDR, double die reverse, examples where the Lincoln Memorial and the phrase, E pluribus unum, appear shadowed or ghosted, giving a mysterious halo effect that is unmistakably the result of a double impression from an unstable or improperly aligned die, and these double die examples, when confirmed and in high grade, often sell for anywhere from $25,000 to over $1 million. Depending on severity, clarity, and completeness of the doubling, but the story doesn't end there because 2060 pennies have also surfaced with dramatic off-center strikes, with images shifted by more than 50% off the center, creating crescent-shaped blanks and highly visible distortion of the design, which while less rare than some other errors, can still be worth tens of thousands when paired with additional flaws like a die crack or a clipped planchet. And speaking of clipped planchets, these are another fascinating error to emerge from the 2060 batch, where a portion of the coin is literally missing due to an error during the blanking process, often resulting in crescent or straight edge clips that give the coin a jagged or partial appearance that instantly separates it from the norm and makes it highly collectible, especially if the rest of the design is sharply struck and readable. And in even rarer cases, 2060 pennies have been identified as having been struck on incorrect planchets, including ones meant for dimes or even foreign coinage such as those used in Central America or the Caribbean. And these wrong planchet strikes are incredibly valuable because they result in a coin with the diameter or weight of a different denomination while retaining the Lincoln cent design, and when authenticated, these specimens regularly sell for high 5 or 6 figures due to their extreme scarcity and undeniable minting origin. And then there are the transitional error pieces, coins that appear to be made from the wrong metal alloy, possibly due to leftover planchets from 1982 or experimental blanks never intended for public use, and when combined with striking errors, such coins gain nearly mythical status among collectors and investors who see them as the holy grail of modern U.S. coinage, and fueling this frenzy is the relative newness of the coin, Minted only in 2006, which means many of these rare specimens are still in circulation, hiding in drawers. Penny jars, cash registers, and bank rolls just waiting to be discovered by someone with a keen eye, a bit of luck, and a lot of patience, and the excitement surrounding the 2060 penny has even led to academic studies and mint historical investigations, with researchers trying to determine how such a concentration of minting mistakes occurred in what was otherwise a technologically advanced minting era, leading to theories ranging from die overuse, machinery miscalibration, quality control gaps, and even the possibility of unnoticed sabotage or deliberate experimentation within the Denver Mint that year, all of which adds to the mystery and allure of this coin that defies easy explanation and continues to inspire treasure hunters across the globe. And now, with major numismatic institutions confirming that only a handful of authentic multi-era 2060 pennies have been submitted and certified, the likelihood of finding one continues to diminish, making each remaining example more valuable by the year, and some collectors have begun treating them like high-end art or rare gemstones, securing them in climate-controlled vaults, insuring them for millions, and only unveiling them at prestigious coin conventions or private showings where they are admired not only for their value but for their extraordinary visual appeal and historical significance. And as demand for these coins increases, the market prices have followed, with private sales being recorded at amounts that surpass traditional investments like real estate or luxury vehicles, all for a coin that most people would pass by without a second thought, which is why we urge you to check your coin jars, old wallets, family collections, and anywhere that small change might hide, because your next find could be more than just a cent. It could be a $29 million piece of American history that bridges accident and artistry, flaw and fortune, and reminds us all that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest stories. So if you found this story fascinating and want to continue exploring the incredible hidden world of rare coins and valuable errors that could be hiding in your own home, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so you never miss a chance to uncover the next great treasure in the palm of your hand.